Eknath retires the bill of exchange at a discount of 12% per annum. So 1% per month. Therefore, Eknath retires the bill. He makes a premature payment of the bill. We are asked to show the journal entries in the books of Eknath. So in the books of Eknath, first of all, what happens is that Eknath is accepting a bill. So it is a bills payable for him, and Eknath has accepted the bill for 10,000 rupees, and Vilas's account is being debited and bills payable account is being credited here. Now what happens is that on March 4, thereafter the bill payable account is debited because the retirement is happening here, and therefore a payment is being made. So bill payable account is being squared up by 10,000 rupees, and 9,900 rupees is being paid. However, 100 rupees, which is 1% of 10,000, which is the discount amount or the interest amount on retirement, or the rebate amount on the retirement. So therefore, in Eknath's book, the interest account is being credited because he has received this rebate on retirement of the bill, and bank account is being credited because the payment of 9,900 is being made, and the bills payable account is being debited or being squared up in the books of Eknath. Now let us see illustration 5 in this respect. On 1st of January 2016, Vilas has drawn a bill. I think it is the same thing. Now let's go to insolvency. Insolvency of a person means that if we say that a person is insolvent, it means that he is not able to make the payment. He is unable to pay his liabilities. Insolvency means the inability to pay the liabilities. It means that the bill which was accepted by any person will get dishonored, because if he is insolvent, the bill, if he has accepted earlier, will get dishonored. Therefore, when we come to know that a person has become insolvent, then we must pass the entries for dishonor of his acceptance. Later on, however, something may be received from his estate. The bill is dishonored at that point of time, although later on some money may be received from his estate. When and if an amount is received from his estate, the cash account will be debited and the personal account of the debtor will be credited at that point of time for the cash which is received out of the dishonored amount. The remaining amount will be irrecoverable after having received part cash, and therefore the remaining amount which is irrecoverable should be written off as bad debt. The student should be careful to calculate the amount actually received from an insolvent estate, and amount to be written off only after preparing his account. Because the written off amount will be decided only after the money is being received from insolvent's estate. Whatever money is recovered by sale of the insolvent estate, either by the state government or by anybody else, and thereafter, in respect of the remaining amount, a write-off entry has to be made. So in the books of the drawee of the bill, the amount which is not ultimately paid by him due to the insolvency factor, because he was the drawee of the bill but he could not make the payment, so the amount which is not ultimately paid by him should be credited to the deficiency account, because that much was the deficiency in the payment. Now, illustration 6 is that Mr. David draws two bills on 1/1/2016. The first bill is for 6,000 rupees and the second bill is for 10,000 rupees. Now, the bills of exchange for 6,000 is for 2 months and the bill of exchange for 10,000 rupees is for 3 months. They are both for different time periods, though they are drawn on the same date. Now, these bills are accepted by Mr. Thomas. On 4/3/2016, Mr. Thomas requests Mr. David that if he can renew the bill, the first bill of 6,000 rupees with interest at 18% per annum for a period of 2 months. So he's asking for an extension of the date and a renewal of the first bill for a period of 2 months at the interest rate of 18% per annum. Now, Mr. David agrees to this proposal, to the proposal of Mr. Thomas to renew the first bill. So this stands extended by 2 months. It was initially for 2 months. It is extended by another 2 months. Now, Mr. David agrees to this proposal, and on 23/2016, Mr. Thomas retires the acceptance for 10,000 rupees. So therefore, on 23/2016, Mr. Thomas is making a premature payment for 10,000 rupees, and he gets an interest rebate or discount of rupees 100 for this. So when he retires the acceptance for rupees 10,000 rupees, this 10,000 acceptance is the second one, which was for 3 months period. On 23/2016, he retires it, which means that he retires it after 2 months and 20 days. The interest rebate is 100 rupees, and before the due date of the renewed bill, the new bill has to be given for extension of the date for the first bill of 6,000. So before the due date happens for the renewed bill, Mr. Thomas becomes insolvent. So he is not able to pay in terms of for the renewed bill, which was for 6,000 rupees. It was renewed for another 2 months, a total of 4 months, and thereafter Mr. Thomas becomes insolvent, and only 50 paisa in a rupee could be recovered from his estate. So he becomes insolvent, and later on 50% of the amount, 50 paisa in a rupee means 50% of the balance due from him is recovered from his estate. So we have to give in this illustration the journal entries in the books of David. So let us see. There are two bills receivable in the books of David. One bill is the bill receivable number 1 for 6,000 rupees. So debiting the bill receivable account for 6,000 rupees. The second bill is the bill receivable of 10,000 rupees. And against this, Mr. Thomas account is being credited because these bills are accepted, and Mr. Thomas account is credited because these bills were drawn on January 1. So these two entries are in respect of drawing of these two bills, and Mr. Thomas's account is credited. In Mr. Thomas's account is credited because Mr. David has drawn these two bills of exchange, and the bills have been accepted by Mr. Thomas. So as soon as Mr. Thomas accepts those bills, Mr. Thomas's account stands credited by 16,000. Now, however, what happens is that there is a agreed renewal of the first bill, that is for 6,000. The bill for 6,000 rupees is renewed on 4th of March. So therefore, we are reversing this entry. Bill receivable account is now squared up, and Mr. Thomas's account is again debited, because that much payment is again to be received from Mr. Thomas now. Then thereafter, a fresh bill is made, which is due for maturity. A fresh bill is made on 4th of March because the 6,000 bill was retired, or this 6,000 bill was cancelled. This is a cancellation entry, and now a fresh bill is issued. And when the fresh bill is issued, as can be seen here, at the interest rate of 18% per annum for a period of 2 months. So 18% per annum means that 1.5% per month, which means that this is for 2 months, so 3% of 6,000 should be taken here. So 3% of 6,000 is 180 rupees, and therefore a fresh bill is generated. This is a fresh bill receivable of 6180, and against this an interest of rupees 180 is being paid, and Mr. Thomas's account is credited by 6,000 rupees here. So that is how the fresh bill is generated, and for 6180, and interest is also being paid here, the additional interest for extension of the date for 2 months. And per month,
Sir,
interest rate 0.5%. Yes, yes.
sir, there is an entry on the second block. Mr. Thomas account debit 6,000 to bills receivable number 1 account credit 6,000, being the reversal entry. Could you please explain that once more?
Yeah. So what is happening was that initially the 6,000 bill was received by Mr. David. This bill receivable was there, and it was accepted by Mr. Thomas. 6,000 bill was written by Mr. David. It was drawn by Mr. David, and it was sent to Mr. Thomas, and therefore Mr. Thomas had accepted the bill, and therefore this was a bill receivable for Mr. David. Bill receivable means on this bill amount would be receivable by Mr. David at the end of the time period that is mentioned in the bill. So to explain this entry, initially this bill was accepted by Mr. Thomas, but however what happened was that at the end of 2 months, Mr. Thomas has requested that please extend the time of payment by 2 months. As you can see in the question here.
Yes, sir.
These bills are accepted by Mr. Thomas, and then on 4th of March. Why 4th of March? Because 3 days also they are adding, because he had to make the payment, and he is not able to make the payment, so he's saying that he is requesting Mr. David to renew the first bill. First bill means this 6,000 bill for a period of 2 months at 18% interest. That means 3% interest for 2 months. So the interest would be on 6,000, the interest would be 3%, and that is 180 rupees. So what he's saying is that I will pay 180 rupees interest, but I will make the payment after two more months. So when the renewal happens, what we have to do is that we just don't renew the bill straight away. First we cancel the old bill, and then we make a new bill. That is the procedure. So following that procedure, the old bill is being cancelled here. So this is a cancellation entry. Reversal means this is a cancellation entry of the old bill. So that is how this bill receivable account is, which was debited earlier. It is now squared up by a credit of 6,000 rupees, and Mr. Thomas's account is again debited for 6,000 rupees. Why it is being debited for 6,000 rupees? Because now again Mr. Thomas has to pay 6,000 rupees in some other form to Mr. David, and which ultimately he does here, because he makes a new bill for 6180, and this is including the interest of 180 rupees. And finally, you can see here Mr. David has debited his bill receivable account again here for the new bill, and interest account he has also credited for himself because he has earned an interest of 180 rupees, and he has credited Mr. Thomas's account also, in a way acknowledging that Mr. Thomas has now made the payment to him by way of this new bill. Thereafter, then we see the other bill. In case of the other bill, that is retired on 20th of March. Retired means premature payment is being made here, and on premature payment a rebate is being given. So rebate is being allowed by David. That is a loss to him, and he gets the payment in his bank account of 9,900 rupees. So his bank account gets debited for 9,900 rupees. Thereby this bill receivable of 10,000 rupees is thereby discharged by this retirement. Then thereafter, however, what happens is that even after this extension of the time, again Mr. Thomas is not able to make the payment because he goes insolvent, and since he goes insolvent, he is not able to make the payment. So we again square up the bills receivable account for this new bill and create the debit in his disfavor, in the disfavor of Mr. Thomas account here. So Mr. Thomas again now has to pay 6180. He had already promised to pay 6180, but he failed to pay 6180 also, and therefore now he has to pay 6180 in some other form. Now what happens finally, that the official assignee of Mr. Thomas is able to make the payment. Whoever is the official assignee, he makes the payment of 50% of the amount as mentioned in the question here. 50 paisa in a rupee, which means 50%, could be recovered from the estate of Mr. Thomas. So whoever is given the duty to sell off his estate to make the payment, he makes the payment of 50% of the due amount. Now we see that the due amount was 6180. So 50% of it is 3090. 3090 amount is received in the bank account from the official assignee of Mr. Thomas, and in respect of the remaining 3090, that is a bad debt, so it will not be received. So that is finally debited to the bad debt account, and after doing this, this credit is going to Mr. Thomas's account, acknowledging that Mr. Thomas's account is now squared up and we don't have anything to receive from Mr. Thomas account now, from Mr. Thomas now, because 50% we have received from his estate through the official assignee, and in respect of the rest we have already treated as a bad debt. That is the amount that we are not going to receive. So bad debt account is debited and bad debt will go into the profit and loss account.
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, in case of a bad debt account, how do we actually make the entry? Means how do we visualize an entry while making into a bad debt account? Because the amount doesn't exist actually physically, hence it's a bad debt.
Well, what is happening here is that Mr. Thomas was supposed to pay this 3090 to Mr. David.
Yes.
Now he is not able to pay this 3090 to Mr. David, and Mr. David has finally resigned himself to the situation, and he thinks, well, he is not able to get this money back from Mr. Thomas. So he does not keep the money in balance in Mr. Thomas's account any longer. So what he does is that he squares up Mr. Thomas's account by crediting Mr. Thomas's account by 3090, and he takes the loss to himself. So by debiting the bad debt account, in effect what he is doing is that he is acknowledging his loss. Why he is acknowledging the loss? Because this 3090 is a loss to him. He will not be able to recover this amount.
Yes, yes.
He has lost this amount, and he has lost it in form of the bad debt. So therefore he makes an account called bad debt and he debits it over there. Finally, this bad debt balance will go into the profit and loss account and reflect
Yes.
as a expenditure or a loss over there. So therefore, by debiting the bad debt account, he is in a way acknowledging that he is going into a loss in respect of 3090 amount.
So, sir, just for the sake of making the journal entry, he is actually squaring the Thomas account, right? Thomas actually doesn't have that money physically.
You
Him
see
off.
the
So he's basically
Thomas.
squaring the Thomas account with respect to a journal entry.
Yes, correct. Mr. Thomas is not giving this money to him. Mr. Thomas was supposed to give this money to him, but when we say credit Mr. Thomas, it doesn't mean that we are receiving the money from him. When we credit Mr. Thomas, we are just saying that the debt is over now. The debt is no longer there. So, supposing we had received the money from Mr. Thomas in form of check, what we would have done is we would have credited Mr. Thomas for 3090 again and debited our bank account with the check amount. So in that case, entry would have been credit Mr. Thomas 3090, debit bank, because he has made the payment to us. But in case he has not made the payment to us and we are acknowledging the loss, we are debiting the bad debt account.
So, sir, basically, actually, it seems virtually that Thomas account is Thomas is giving the money, but actually it is not. It is just a creation of a bad debt account for Mr. David.
Yes, because we now onwards we are not going to take any money from Mr. Thomas in respect of this 3090 amount. So we have written off the amount. In a way, we are writing off. This is called writing off the debt.
Okay, okay.
So whenever it happens with any of the debtors who have to give some payment to us, and we realize that okay, now that will not come to us, so we acknowledge the loss by making such entry, by crediting that debtor, and by debiting the bad debt account. So this is how the bad debt account is being maintained, and the loss is being recognized through the bad debt account. So bad debt is the name of the account through which we are acknowledging a loss that has come upon us due to whatever reasons.
Okay.
Okay, so we go to illustration 7. So I think that we can do the illustration 7 from the morning because we still have a number of illustrations to do. So let us postpone the illustration 7 to tomorrow morning, and meanwhile you can just go through what we have done today and just make a revision, and in the morning join us again at 7:45 a.m.